Test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Well, only way to test is if this is testing 1, 2, 3. And that is to way to test is if this is testing. There we go. All right, this is gonna be short and brief. Peace to the fam. And yeah, we're just gonna touch on this monstrosity. It'll be brief, it'll be short, but oh, I just I think I just went off for a second. Can you hear me? It'll be short, but oh, I think I just went off for a second. Can you hear me? Nope. Nope, I didn't go off. All right. Just didn't hear myself for a second in here. Hold on. Test. Didn't hear myself. All right. Anyway, let's get this party started right now. Peace, everybody. Anybody who comes in, just hit the like, hit the share, hit subscribe. And I just wanted to speak about this briefly. Hopefully, I can get this in within a half hour. But obviously, Tariq's quote unquote controversial pseudo documentary has come out past couple of weeks. Interesting how he marketed it, but my point of this is that this is like a mirage in the desert. It's gonna. What does this do to how does this move you closer to reparations? I mean, this dude keeps making a joke about this whole thing. It's a pseudo documentary that's he pushed out there like a flashy billboard with imagery and so on, but it's an empty billboard. But my question is, what is this? Cheaply made, by the way. How's this going to bring you closer to reparations? Let's go. Yeah, we'll just start with this tweet that I saw. So apparently, obviously, he did this documentary just like he markets his other documentaries. Man, we got to get this out there. Just put up the GoFundMe or Indigo or whatever. Collects way above what this documentary needs. And with this one, he just put it. Obviously, you paid for it up front. Then you went to the movie theater for a one-time showing. That I didn't know. Did not know. A one-time showing in all these cities for $30. Seats weren't even folded up from what I understand. And then it's gone. And look, let me just say, I love hip hop. I'm not against any documentary about hip hop at all. But how is this feel-goodery film designed to twist the arm of the U.S. government to meet the demands of tangibles for Black Americans? That's the question you got to ask. This documentary is supposedly, according to him, according to the website, supposedly revealing the untold story of hip hop. Okay, like I thought after 50 years, hundreds of books, countless documentaries, thousands upon thousands of MCs, producers, lyricists, executives. Why do we need another hip hop documentary like we need a hole in the head? Now, My problem with this, just getting back to reparations, because some of y'all don't even know the definition of reparations, i.e., to repair. Reparations is about restitution, it's about rehabilitation. The guarantees of this never happening again. How does knowing that Coke Rock was the first MC, how does that guarantee that these atrocities aren't going to happen to you again? Remember, and I want y'all to remember this, hear me now. After busting up Ados, this dude, your boy Marcus Sanders, whatever his name is, he assured you that he knew the route on getting reparations. I have the tape. The tape is still out there. So, but my question to y'all is, besides an empty debate, and something that's just caused dissension and amongst Black folks, what does this film accomplish when it comes to reparations? So he says in his website, it's supposed to be dispelling misconceptions and shedding the light on its true creators, which according to this film's agenda is that the true creators are from down south, which is a lie, right? Which is a lie. And we'll get into more than just the buffoonery in a second, but how does knowing this bring you closer to getting a check or making you whole, like Yvette Carnell loves to say? If the case for reparation ever gets to the Senate floor, will erasing the Bronx from hip hop, which basically is just an attack on quote unquote tethers and so-called non-FBA or non-ADOs, since in New York is obviously stacked high with Caribbeans and Hispanics. So, what are you gonna do? Is erasing the Bronx from the hip hop history books? Is that going to be part of your demands for getting reparations? Will Chirac or Coke Rock will there be a required shout out before every State of the Union address? Is that going to be an article in the Constitution? Like, really, what was the purpose of this? Now, and also the most important question is that what qualifies Tariq Nasheed, a failed rapper? What qualifies him to produce a documentary on the hidden history of hip hop when his own records in hip hop and virtually everything else about his life is virtually invisible? Look, hip hop, it's not a decrepit building in need of constant reparation. I'm sorry, in constant renovation, excuse me. Like, the books have been written already, folks. Long time ago. This is hip hop is like an oak tree at this point. Now, full disclosure. I don't plan to watch. I do not plan to watch this movie. I mean, like, I don't plan to watch it. I'm not going to financially support this crap. I'm not going to stick any of my hand in my pocket to give any money to this dude for any of these BS projects. But I did search through YouTube though, and I did see some of the reviews. All right, and what I mean, some of them, I mean, I really didn't see that many reviews, which tells you right there that no one saw this shit. This is why he's got to collect monies up front. And yeah, I am doing a little pocket watching, whatever. But this tells me that the movie bombed. You got to collect the money up front and you got to show it one time and sell the sizzle. And this is why he's putting out tweets like this, saying, oh, they don't want to put it on Amazon. Which is a lie, because if you go to Amazon, it says in his very right there on Amazon that it's sold out. Well, he placed it as sold out. That's what he says. But he said that Amazon is not putting it on there. Anyways, if the movie would, like when Tyler Perry's, what was it called? The movie that he just had with Kelly, that movie. I saw that on Netflix. Good Lord. But it got bad reviews, and I went and I saw it, and yeah, it was pretty brutal. But it had a bunch of reviews. Some people liked it, but most people didn't. But you saw tons of reviews. It was successful financially. It was just a brutal movie. But with this, you got two guys online who are clearly FBA heads. And one sister, she seemed sincere, but that's it. Nobody saw this shit. Now, the movie review from the sister, she watched the movie and she seemed, I mean, I'm not going to disparage her. I don't know her or anything. She says she's a doctor. Okay, whatever. But she said that she felt right away that this movie was on some separation shit. And then she said that the movie really didn't get going until an hour in. That's when he pulled out the whole Fat Joe claim that Puerto Ricans were 50% of hip hop or something. Whatever Fat Joe said, this was the premise that this doc was on, or Busta Rhymes. But she said that movie was boring as hell. But and by the way, which was a nothing burger. Latinos didn't create, 50% of hip hop. They're like, Fat Joe says a whole lot of dumb shit. But Latinos were there. You can't say that they weren't there. So, but here's what did happen. This happened a couple of Saturdays ago. This is Saturday and the past Saturday. So, I went on this channel called Psychopathias. During the debate, I was on the platform with this guy named Twin, an individual who's clearly, when you listen to him, like sipping and chugging down the FBA Kool-Aid, whatever. But he started talking, and he argued that the film that hip hop did not originate in New York. All right, so again, the narrative is that New York, people moved from the South. They migrated from the South into New York and created hip hop. They're just really standing on this whole bullshit. Black Americans created everything. Just again, it's, like I said earlier, it's feel goodery bullshit. And it's an attempt to redirect the narrative away from the significant contributions made by the diverse populations of New Yorkers. As you know, New York is the melting pot, and particularly the Jamaicans, the Latinos. You got this hard on for Jamaicans. I mean, there's more than just Jamaicans and that represent the Caribbean in New York, but whatever. Jamaicans and Latinos, and to the development of hip hop. And as I said, he's trying to originate it from the South. But the argument made like a whole left turn. You know what I'm saying? What's up, last call? The argument made a left turn. It's just gotten to buffoonery, like right out the gate. So the argument was hip hop came from the South. Black people migrated to the North from the South. They brought what they had from the South, and the people who created hip hop were actually Black Americans from the South. And my question to that, first thing I asked the dude was, okay, if that's the case, if you had this great music called hip hop from the South, name some Southern hip hop artists that came before Kool Kirk. Like I said, this got into just the goofery right off the bat. Well, He couldn't he couldn't even name it. I'm like, we're just sitting there waiting. Me and another like Curtis Mayfield. Yes, he said Curtis Mayfield. Muhammad Ali. And he mentioned this other comedian. In other words, people who had nothing to do with hip hop. Curtis Mayfield? See, the worst I heard up to that point was the Temptations. I mean, I've heard it's just gotten to just insanity, but Curtis Mayfield, dude. And so I explained to the dude that that's nothing but a sample. You use Curtis Mayfield sample just like you use every other. You have people using rock and roll samples from the 60s. That's not hip hop, it's just a sample. So then I said to him, besides that, which he couldn't answer the question, but if hip hop started from the South back in the 1970s, then why did it take until 1995 at the Source Awards for Outkast to come out and say, oh, now you're going to recognize the South? Like, and obviously you had 2 Live Crew, which no one really paid that much attention to. One of their members just passed this a couple of weeks ago, who happened to come from New York, by the way. And by the way, Luke is Jamaican. What about the Ghetto Boys? Bushwick Bill from the Ghetto Boys, who passed a couple of years ago. He's from Brooklyn, and he's Jamaican. They didn't come out until the late 90s. I'm sorry, the late 80s, early 90s. Goodness. But I've heard it all. The doo-wop group, I forget their names. Some doo-wop group. I forgot the name of the you'll find it. You'll see, because obviously this kind of space. Some doo-wop group supposedly started hip-hop in the 30s, and they weren't rapping, they were singing. It's doo-wop. Muhammad Ali, just because he made a rhyme. Rhyming has been going on for years. People rhyme. They say nursery rhymes. Muhammad Ali, what he did is basically like a nursery rhyme. That wasn't hip-hop. Float like a butterfly, fling like a bee. That's not hip-hop, dude. James Brown did not create hip-hop. That wasn't hip-hop. We sample from James Brown because of the beats, but that's not hip-hop. You see, there's tons of other beats out there. Oh my God. But it really, like, and so many of these ball of confusion from the Temptations. I mean, that's, come on, man. And every time I hear these theories, they outdo themselves. So we were debating back and forth. He made no points. And Curtis Mayfield, but here's where it really got bad. Oh my goodness. So hip hop has many elements, right? Hip hop has many elements. Obviously, DJing and rapping and dancing and, the graffiti, if you want, that as well. But I asked the guy, where did beatboxing come from? Because they still do beatboxing to this very day. People do whole songs, like one of the greatest songs ever, Lottie Dottie. A guy beatboxing and making noise with his mouth while another guy rapping. Both of them, quote unquote, tethers, by the way. But I asked him, where does beatboxing? I guess he didn't know where to go. And he saw this crap. He saw the documentary. And I'm hoping that, I mean, it probably did. Because again, I'm not watching this crap until somebody bootlegs it. But he said that the ham bone dance, that is where beatboxing came from. Ham bone. Y'all know ham bone. Have you heard? And they're hitting their body. Like, what? Ham bone? If that evolved into beatboxing? How does smacking your body with your head and your legs, how does that evolve into beatboxing with your freaking mouth? And how does that move you towards past injustices that requires more than a beat to get to set things straight? Reparations, the path to reparations is long and severe. It takes more than rhythm and more than rhyme to heal the wounds of a system's crime. Actually, Dougie is Barbadian and Slick Rick is English Jamaican, but you get it though. Good Lord. It's just gotten bad. And then obviously Fat Joe is a big stickler for these dudes. That Fat Joe said that 50% of hip hop was started with Puerto Ricans. Fat Joe would never have, even if he said it, it was a dumb statement. You can't name 20 Latino rappers. Fat Joe, his idol, the man who he learned to rap from, KRS. All right. He was in a group called, it was a production group, Digging in the Crates. Fat Joe doesn't produce. It was comprised of 6 people: him, Lord Finesse, Showbiz and AG, Diamond D, and Big L. Actually, like 4 or 5 people, all black men, all of whom were more talented than Fat Joe. Fat Joe would never say that Latinos created hip hop. And let me tell you something, just on the side note, if you look at my community sector, you see that Umar is going to make another visit to the Breakfast Club. Listen, let me tell you something. I've said this before. I am not going to be angry at the Umar Johnsons, the Tariq anymore. Now you got to look at the platforms. You got to look at these platforms because see, they're going to bring them on there to talk nothingness and not ask about the school, of course. But I bring that up because regarding Fat Joe, Ricky Smiley, you've heard of Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley did a segment on the show talking about Fat Joe, saying that Fat Joe said that Puerto Ricans created hip hop. He never said that. But this guy had to lie to get hits. Like it's this what these black shows are worthless. Worthless. Why lie to your audience? And of course, there's Busta Rhymes. Oh, well, Busta Rhymes said Jamaicans started hip hop, blah, blah. Again, who cares? Busta doesn't speak for everybody. Busta's Jamaican, which is what we were arguing about. Busta never said he was Jamaican before now. Yeah, he did. Back in 91 when he first came out. Boy, but it just again devolved into stupidity. That's why I can't argue with these people. This is what Tariq created. And again, not even moving you anywhere near the reparations movement. So I guess the film is based on the so-called criticism by 2 artists. Just 2 artists, just Fat Joe, and it's just an excuse. But all this is just a way to undermine Caribbeans and Latinos. And okay, I'm a tether, whatever. All right. I'm a tether. My family's Jamaican, as you season my about section. I've never hidden that. That silly term. It's maddening how someone would try to profit from a fabricated narrative about black people, especially when it's so clearly a ploy to extract cash. Just doesn't make sense. And frankly, I don't understand how this movie, with such a dishonest premise, could possibly, I state again, how does this get the government to come and cut the check? Now, if, right, if you're so convinced about hip hop and so convinced about reparations, why couldn't you, if you wanted to merge the two, we'll put out hip hop and say, here's why we need reparation. Instead of using this tool to vilify foreign blacks, how come you don't use this to showcase the evolution of the genre that you claim to pioneers and highlight the individuals who have truly profited off of your labor? See, it's easy to attack a bunch of, Caribbeans and just really just anti-blackness in a nutshell. But why don't you highlight the individuals who currently control it in order to build a case for reparations? Huh? Why don't, look at this? This is Live Nation's Board of Executives. Why don't you highlight this? Guaranteed there was nothing in the film about this. Shed light on the individuals like them who dictate the narrative for Black men emerging from impoverished neighborhoods to encourage them to perpetuate toxicity amongst the youth. Plants like Sexy Red and Sukiana. Why not make a compelling argument that this particular aspect of Black culture has been infiltrated by outsiders? Look at the, CEO of Rock Nation. How about that? Why not make an argument that these guys have infiltrated the culture, resulting in continued impoverishment of Black folks and the theft of your royalties? Now it might, be a stretch because you got to speak about guys like P. Shitty and and Irv Gotti and who and he's keeping all the royalties and everything. But why not talk about Jerry Heller? It's not impossible to conduct an investigation on him. He's dead. Shed the light on his influence and his actions. Hasn't he gotten Tariq, I'm talking about, hasn't he gotten in contact with Ice Cube, who hates Jerry Heller? Even after his death, he was like, fuck Jerry Heller. Why not use him and do a good 10, 15 minutes out of that 2-hour slot to talk about him and his influence on one of the most explicit rap groups in the history of the music industry? But again, it takes balls. It takes balls to do this. Huh? Look at this. It takes balls. And he's got to go home to his wife family. So, come on already. But listen, it's about blaming Caribbeans and every other group but the quote unquote dominant society, isn't it? Rather than exposing, this is what Tariq is doing. And speaking of which, all right. Regarding your boy Tariq, guys, look, okay. You see this right here. This is what when the this is what I have to go through when the Puerto Ricans creating. It's like you have no hairline. This is what you're going through here. You have no hairline. You're a tether. Blah 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 blah. But speaking of your boy, did you know? Let's just. You do know that this guy used to be a rapper, right? Now, I made this point during the argument I had on Psycho's channel. Because what does this guy, how does he even qualify to speak on this? It's the FBA ADOS people love to talk about, oh, well, you ain't qualified. Don't talk about FBA business. How is this guy qualified to talk about rap business? Look at the album here, folks. And look at, I mean, I'm gonna do a video going through the lyrics, but just to drop a bar that this guy put down. Now, mind you, look at the album cover. Forget the woman in the back. Forget all that stuff. Look at how he's dressed. Do you know when this album was made? The year of this album is 1999. People were dressing like this, like that was dead damn near a decade ago. 99. Whenever you're coming towards the end of any era, things start to move into another direction. This guy's still stuck in the early 90s. He's about 30 doing this. I know people don't know his age. This guy's got to be like 30 here dressing like this. And the lyrics, oh my God. Like I said, I got to do a whole video just going through the lyrics. But here's a bar that he dropped. One of the bars. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Like, who wrote this? I have made this point. I made this point, and again, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe when you come in. Like, what are we doing out here? Identity, what's up? Bronzes, what's up? What, like, seriously? I made this point in that debate. It wasn't even a debate. Like that dude got smashed, and I'm done with the stupidity. And like I have there's no more patience with these FBA dudes or even ADOS dudes at this point. But I made this point. I said that Vanilla Ice could have done a more credible documentary about hip hop than this dude. Vanilla Ice. Yeah, Robbie Van Winkle. Like Ice, baby. Dude. Vanilla Ice, right? And here was my point. He'd make a more credible documentary in hip hop. See, Vanilla Ice came up in hip hop, grew up in Texas, moved to Miami, started rapping when he was 13, formed his own little crew. All right. Opened up for groups like with his group VIP. Remember Ice Ice Baby? Yo, VIP, let's kick it. That was his group. He opened up for NWA, PE, the DOC, Tone Loc, 2 Live Crew. He with ciphers coming up, battling dudes like Willie D. You know who said he battled Willie D? Willie D. Go search through YouTube. He'll tell you about it. If this adds some more to his street cred, he was stabbed a couple times outside a nightclub 2 or 3 years before he became a big rap star. Once he became a rap, well, before he became a rap star, excuse me, he actually was opening up for NWA and PE and DOC when he became a rap star. Opened up for EPMD and Ice-T and Sir Mix-a-Lot early on. All right, we know about his encounter with Suge Knight. So he has some sort of history in the business, some story to tell. He can give you some insights on a credible basis. What can Tariq do that convinces you that he knows anything about hip hop? So like I said, this guy did put out an album, and good Lord, like, come on, bro. Look at it. Wash your ass. Again, it's 1999. All right, 1999. Get your cash on. What up, cuz? He was never in a gang. That's like just like this is he's talking about being a culture vulture. The man's from Alabama, went to Detroit, and he went to LA. Not everybody in LA was rapping gang banging. When my pistol goes pop. Like this is 99 was the year, by the way. Because we just came off Tupac getting killed and Biggie getting killed in 97. 99, there were two other big deaths. New York based, but they were big nonetheless. Freaky Tie Dot got killed in 99. And Big L got killed in 99. Unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable. But wash your ass. Listen, and this is the guy that's when you look, this is the guy that's qualified to not only give you a hip hop documentary, but he's qualified. Again, what tell me how this leads the this gets the government to cut that check. Look, I understand no matter what I say. There are going to be individuals that are closed-minded, they're unwilling to listen to different perspectives. They don't care about the opinions and experts or the value of content. They just all it seems is that this guy right here, freaking Marcus or whatever the fuck his name is determined. Just you're determined to argue against anything that's said. But I'm not gonna spend any money on this, and I recommend nobody spend money on this. Wait until it comes out on YouTube because you will learn nothing. And if you take this stuff and try to argue with people who know hip hop, you're gonna end up looking foolish. Notice nobody from the hip hop world has attacked Fat Joe or Busta Rhymes. Nobody's done that. So, listen, it appears obviously this was in a theater. The theater event was a one-time occurrence, which is why, as I said before, he collects all the cash up front because there's no resale value to this. So you got to collect all the cash up front and show it once. People aren't going to be running to see this over and over. It just is what it is. All right. Create a temporary buzz around the show and eventually it fades away. So, like I said, I'll just wait on it. But it clearly indicates that once Tariq has received his payment, it's just, and I don't care, but I'm just, these are the financial motives. So, and if you want to be a pocket watcher, go ahead. I mean, he calls people broke, which requires some pocket watching in itself. But I can't pocket watch. Crazy, man. And listen, please refrain from informing me about the notion that discovering ham bone, I still can't get over that. And I know that as this conversation, if people try to push him more, it's going to get more ridiculous. Ham bone, have you heard this? What's it? They're going to add bubbling brown sugar. Is that part of hip hop too? Oh my God. It didn't, guys. None of these things came from the South, bro. It all started in New York. It's the Pseudo documentary. And it's like a mirage in the desert. It looks good to dumb motherfuckers, but ultimately it's going to be empty and it has zero substance. This is nothing but a distraction. That's what the distraction serves its purpose to distract. To distract. Tariq, whose platform focuses on tearing down other members of diaspora rather than advocating for reparations again, go back in the video. I told you how this, you could have linked this to reparations. You didn't want to do that. Division, you get the money from division, not from unity. I get that. But it conveniently avoids even mentioning reparations in this work. So all this is a diversion. And the powers of be, the government loves this type of stuff. Loves it. Loves it. But I mean, we can petition for reparation, but these guys thrive on distractions. So this dude right here is nothing but a self-proclaimed, he's self-proclaimed champion of the people, but like a musician, all right, all he is a smokescreen. And it just obscures your need for justice. So, yeah, man. I mean, you could listen. This right here is just allows the government to maintain the status quo, man. The real fight for reparations that you claim that you want, it's going to be out of sight pretty soon. So that's all I wanted to say, man. And again, just hit the like button, hit the share, hit subscribe. And yeah, man, you gotta stop falling for the sleight of hand from this dude. You really do. You know what? I'll probably find, I mean, you look in New York, I'll probably find some sort of bootleg thing. I'll probably look at it myself, but to sit through 2 hours of this crap, and he's begging Amazon, and it's now, by the way, it's out of the movie theater. It's now on Blu-ray. Somebody made a good point too, which let me just mention this, because while we were on that platform, I said, okay, why doesn't this guy just put it on iTunes Blu-ray? He can't put it on Blu-ray because a lot of the stuff that he gets, it doesn't clear copyright. The intellectual properties, a lot of that doesn't clear, so he can't put that on a serious platform, or he's going to get sued out of his mind. So it's better to just, do even with this parade that's going to happen in DC on Juneteenth, I believe. He used Kendrick Lamar's "They Not Like Us." I don't think he went to Kendrick to get permission to use that, even though everybody's using it now. But it's just, he calls people janky, but this is janky. All this whole thing is janky. So listen, go, you want to watch this garbage, you can do that. I'm not watching it. And it is not bringing you anywhere near cutting the check. And whether it's him, whether it's little Jeremy, all right, whether it's Professor Black Truth, they can't explain how this moves you closer to getting reparations. Word is, by the way, he's going to do another documentary talking about the West Coast. My question is, sir, if you do West Coast rap, will any of this crap come up? So that's all I want to know. That's it. That's all I want to know, man. That's all. Affectionate Earth. I'm going to tell you, can't even spell tether. Good Lord. The guys, I got to show this. These are his students right here. The man can't even spell tether. Oh, he did? Okay, last call. If he did, then that's fine. I guess he really wants to spread word of how much he cannot stand Drake. And by the way, Kendrick just buried that dude. He absolutely buried Drake. I mean, that's no competition, none. So yeah, man. Listen, thanks for joining. I'll see if I can get another live in, because tomorrow I'm going to be leaving New York. I'm actually going down south for the weekend. So yeah, man. Again, like, share, subscribe. And again, if you want to be smarter about hip hop or learn about hip hop, man, just read a book, right? You watch this garbage at your own risk. Because if you stick to this and use this as your foundation, You end up, you're gonna look like an absolute moron trying to push some of these this propaganda from this movie. But shout out to everybody that came in. All right. Big up on yourself. Thanks for coming. And yeah, till next time. Peace.